I think a better question might be, right, we know what the problem is, right? You're dehumanizing humans. So I think a better question for you would be, how do you deal with the guy that pulls the shank on you, right? Because you are very good at keeping your cool and treating people like people.
If the proof that we're sitting here on a Saturday morning at 3 o'clock in the morning having this conversation isn't proof that culture change is here, I don't know what else could prove that to you. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Pull Up Podcast. I'm here with Captain Davison at Jefferson City Correctional Center. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're set up outside Housing Unit 2, and we're going to have a discussion about culture change and what culture change looks like in prison. I asked Captain Davison to join us for this conversation after he went to another prison to help us establish a GLA there, and nobody better to talk about it than him. I'm here with Gary and JD. What sets culture in the prison? Because the dynamic in the community is that we put animals in prison, and so prisons are a zoo.
Yep.
But are prisons built like a zoo? Do we remove the dignity of the human being when they get here, and does that result in danger and violence?
Yes. Because inherently, I believe people are good. And then I know that the devil is real because I've seen evil in here. I've seen evil outside here, outside law enforcement. But inherently, I think people made a bad choice, did something that they regretted, and this is their punishment. So they come in here, and I believe that outside influence, like, say, the news, TV, movies, all that, creates a stigma for in here. And I believe some people believe that they have to act that way when they're in here as well, to be hard, to look like they're an alpha. And then when you get here, like day one, I was told, don't shake their hands, don't fist bump, don't ask them how their day is, don't do anything like that. That's a sign of weakness. What? Okay. Mind you, my first day, I was late because I didn't understand the schedule. Right, so I was 30 minutes late for my very first shift ever. Yeah, Captain Johnson was understanding because I didn't understand how the schedule worked. But when I got here, I didn't understand all the computer stuff of it, right? But I did it, and I did security checks, and I did count, and then I was an OPC officer, and then I was up at mainline. Then I went to 6D, and I fed all the 6D, and I was exhausted my first shift. My second shift, same thing, did it again. I remember falling asleep, standing up in the dining room. And I went home, woke up, and told my wife, I don't know if I want to do this. This is a lot. I haven't learned anything except just how to watch and feed.
But are you questioning culture?
Absolutely.
I'm asking that because I see you as such an agent of change within the facility. Like, for me, I could explain to you an event that I witnessed in prison that pissed me off to the point this stood as fuel. I watched somebody die, and the animalistic nature of the 150 people wanting to loot this man's locker. These people didn't wake up one day and decide, I'm gonna demand a man's cornflakes after I watch him die on the floor. They're stripped of their dignity too, that put them in a place where they're in a warehouse where 15 guys are seeing who's the alpha a year into my incarceration on the day that my dad died. And so it friggin' shook me. This is my neighborhood.
Yeah.
How do I do something about this? Because I am not okay with it, and I got 5 more years of this. I'm not blaming the system. I'm not saying that man's not guilty of the crime or that he shouldn't be incarcerated. I'm just saying this shit ain't okay.
It shouldn't stop the human nature, the human element of we should all be inherently be helping each other no matter what. And that I see what you're saying here. So the moment that stands out to me, I was an OJT, right? I went to the academy. You come here, you do 2 weeks OJT. I'm in 8 house, and this guy, he's in Bravo wing, and he's like, man, can I get some grams? I'm like, I don't even know what that means. What are you talking about? He's like, grams, man. I need some grams. They didn't have my CRD. I'm like, so I went to the sergeant. I'm like, what's grams? graham crackers. Okay, that's easy, right? So I go get the graham crackers. I come back, and I open the chuck hole. And the moment I open the chuck hole, his arm comes out with a knife, and it's just holding it there. And I'm like, he's like, give me the grams. I'm like, you can't. I don't have to give you the grams. I'm thinking in my mind. I'm still perplexed as what just transpired. Like, I feel like this is a stick up. Why are you holding a
Sounds
weapon?
like
You're not going to get
robbed.
Sounded like a
Sounds like a stick up.
And I'm sitting here, and I know I never got to see the video or anything, but I'm standing there just looking at it like, this is actually happening. I said, why don't you just put that back or just go away from this door, and I'll throw the grams in. And he's like, yeah, okay. So he did. He backs up. I throw the graham crackers in. I shut the slider, and I go on. And I'm thinking that's normal.
This is every day. It's everyday life in Aztec.
Did you go back and get the knife, or?
No, I told the sergeant, and they ended up taking care of it. But I was so new. Well, I didn't know any different. Like, I'm thinking,
They all got
this is
knives.
prison.
That's what TV
They all
shows.
got knives.
That's what
No big
TV
deal.
shows.
But the thing that didn't bother me, believe it or not. It was the fact that he was so nice to me, right? And standing in front of that window, he thought I was going to do something else.
And his solution was
Stick a weapon out.
Stick them up.
Hold the chuck hole hostage, and I'm gonna stick a weapon out at this guy, this new officer, and scare him. And I didn't get scared. I was more like, whoa, this is real. Holy crap. And I even ended up giving him the graham crackers, right? And I shut the chuck hole, tell the sergeant what happened. Whatever happened after that, that was before my time of knowing everything that's going on around here. So it bothered me. He was sweet as pie. And I went and got what he was asking for, and he pulled a weapon on me. That freaked me out. After I left and was going home, I'm driving home, I'm thinking, oh my God. Where did that come from?
Was that your first week? What, month?
First week on OJT, on day shift.
Okay.
I don't have the answers. I'm not saying that we let everybody out of a box, but I'm saying, what is the situation? This guy did something to take himself to prison. There was some bad behavior that was committed that took him to prison, but I guarantee you he wasn't sitting in his bedroom and every time his mom brought him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, he was putting a prison shank in her face. There's something about his existence that made this a viable option or a viable solution to a problem. He saw you as a problem. His shank was a solution. We got to have prison. We got to have a solution to bad behavior. But is the end result that this man holds on to his dignity by sticking a knife in your face when you're trying to give him a cracker?
That's his
You don't-
experience.
You don't care about dignity at that point. At that point, I could care less about dignity.
That's what I'm saying.
Because,
It's been taken away.
Because of this. Exactly, because I haven't had any. So any interaction that I have with the majority of COs is, you're up here, I'm down here, you're going to do what I say because I said it, whether it's right or wrong, it's irrelevant. If it's wrong, I go say something to a sergeant's going to ride with his CO1, go say something to lieutenant's going to ride with his sergeant all the way down. So it's always, you're up here, I'm down here, and at some point, you're like, you know what? I know how to make something happen.
I'm up
you know
here
how
now.
to make you know how to make something happen?
Yeah.
Violence.
Now I'm on top.
Why? Because when I was 9 years old, I did a violent act and the things that were happening to me stopped. So at 9 years old, I learned if I'm violent enough, I'm going to get what I want. And when I come to prison, if I'm violent enough, I'm going to get what I want.
It's experience.
Right, but you didn't start at a place where when you were 16 you had a driver's license and the police pulled you over because you didn't use your blinker and you pulled a shank out as a solution.
No, but the
That
police,
didn't happen at 16.
they also treated me with respect.
Right.
They treated me like a person. So you can only treat people like animals for so long before they start acting like animals.
So that's what was profound to me when I went to prison. I went to 16 House where there were 500 people in 4 bays.
Yeah.
And the things that I saw that was acceptable on a regular basis, like, to me was completely unacceptable. And like, I remember I got to prison in 2017 around the time that Ann Priestley showed up and this Corrections Way sign went up. And I remember walking out of a visit and seeing trust, value, appreciate, and rapport on the wall. And I'm walking in the chow hall and the CO's asking me what the I'm looking at. But because you're over there, I got to stomach this for years, right, as a grown man. But I also got to stay respectable. But I want to maintain my dignity, right? I want to see my daughter. I want to talk on the phone. And so for me, that was the test.
Yeah.
And that was how I learned. That's how I got good at it. So people are like, oh, I get asked all the time, like, how do you have these relationships where you work effectively? It's because how many times did I not get the reaction from Kelly Morris I was looking for in the first 4 years I was incarcerated? Probably 290.
You took no as not right now.
Yeah.
That's all that means.
Well,
yeah.
Exactly, and it's just because you don't know what's going on. But at the same time, there was at some point a desire to be effective, and at first it started out as being effective, like with my wife and daughter, like it just maintaining that. But then that's what I saw, like when I went to the summit and people called me by name, or there was just a coming off of that line. I'm like, here's the solution. How do you get people in a room to just talk about seeing me as a value? Where does the recognition of the toxicity of the culture turn into a solution? Does it require death and charges, or can we have a collective servant's heart?
Requires something drastic.
Well,
Maybe not death, but something is going to have to happen for people to want it.
I think a better question might be, right, we know what the problem is, right? You're dehumanizing humans. So I think a better question for you would be, how do you deal with the guy that pulls the shank on you, right? Because you are very good at keeping your cool and treating people like people.
One, emotional intelligence. I had to realize that I have that ability instead of just always professing that I'm a captain or I'm a lieutenant or I'm a sergeant, right? So if a staff member is assaulted, I learned if I go talk to that guy and find out why he did that, because nothing is a coincidence in prison. Nothing ever is. Everything is purposeful, generally. There's something behind why this happened, right? So now I go and talk to him and ask, what, did you have beef with them? Did something else happen that I don't know of? Were you having a bad day? Did you lose a relative? Talk to me, what happened? And normally it boils down to they don't like being talked down to. They don't like that. I'm not a kid. Don't talk to me like you're my dad. And I'm like, whoa, okay. I get what you're saying here. So whatever that officer said to you, and you said your dad, right? Did you have a good relationship with him? Hell no, I didn't. I'm like, oh, so we hit that button is what happened. So it allows me to go to that officer at some point and explain to him, you may not have meant it, but you hit a button. And I guarantee you at some point during your conversation or in that interaction, he probably told you to stop, back off, leave me alone, quit. I've seen this a couple times now where we get into there's a 10-5 call, right? And we have a use of force. And I go and I respond and we're walking back and I ask that question, what's going on? What happened? Why? Why'd you do that? Man, I just lost my loved one. All right, I lost my mama. Holy moly. I lost my mama and I'm pissed off and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk. Let's start humanizing with them. Being human. I have a mom. I can understand. I've lost loved ones. Okay, I can get on that level with you. And you'll notice every time, once they start talking and start letting that out and they have a vent session, boy, the temperature goes down. It cools them.
I think like for us from our side, that's what it is. You take the time to listen and figure out what the small problem is. Because usually it's not a big problem. I remember when I was in 7th House and the assistant warden was down there, we'd just have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be like, hey, man, what's up? What are we doing? I'd be like, what do you mean? You ain't getting this tray. I can tell you that much. Go get him. They go get him. We fight. Go on about our business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Deal.
No big deal. But
you're going to get your wreck today.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's all it was.
That one. we muddy what our job is and we try to say that everything's behavioral.
Well,
right?
as soon as it becomes behavioral, whatever the original complaint was that the guy might have had legitimately, you guys don't care anymore.
Nope.
Now it's about this.
Yep.
No, now you did something. And like you started this with the flashbangs, you guys had to throw in the wing. But what you just said, it comes from that, not listening.
Yep.
Them guys weren't heard. They weren't tearing shit up for no reason.
Yep.
If somebody would have listened, you wouldn't have been throwing flashbangs in the wing to calm it down and all that. So if more people follow your lead and listen and get to the root of the situation instead of letting the shit fester and build, I mean, that's what's happening now.
Because if people can be able to process, offenders will get upset. Staff get upset. I realize that if I just listen, it doesn't matter what side you're on. When somebody's pissed off and upset and wants to be heard, a lot of times we want to talk over them, right? You're going to do it this. You're going to do what I tell you to do. I don't care what you're talking about. I can stop a lot of stuff just by shutting my mouth and letting that individual just vent, let them get it off their chest, validate what they're saying, like I don't care what the instance is. I'd say 99% of the time, since I've worked here, I can relate to what guys are going through in here. Have I been attacked? Yes. Have I been stabbed? Yes. In law enforcement, I have. Absolutely. I can understand why that would make somebody upset. Have I been robbed? Yes. Have I ever had stuff stolen from me? Yes. Have I had my personal belongings broken into? Yes. That all happens in here. I can humanize and relate, and I try to put myself, that guy's upset, let him talk. All right, he's talking. He's not violent, he's just mad. They're just words. And then, hey man, I understand what you're saying. I can say I understand because that's happened to me before, and then I tell them what happened to me. And then, oh, now we have value in our conversation. Okay, so this guy does hold a little bit of weight in what he's saying. So now we're finding some common ground here, right? All right, Davison, maybe, all right. So here's what we got to do. Now, when it comes time to say, like, I have to take somebody to ADSEG, this is policy at this point. This is just business. This isn't personal, but this is what we have to do at this point. Because what your actions have done, there's a reaction for it. This is what's going to have to happen right now. So I want you to just take a deep breath. I'm going to put these cuffs on you, and let's just walk with our dignity, keep our head up, and let's just get this over with. And 90% of the time, it works. And you want to talk and be mad? Do that the whole way over there. Just don't do anything stupid, please. That's all I'm asking of you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Bo here. This week's episode is brought to you by Our Daily Bread Ministries. Our Daily Bread Ministries helps people grow closer in their relationship with God, become more like Jesus, and respond to God's Word through the conviction of the Holy Spirit. You can learn more about them and discover resources to help you experience the life-changing wisdom of the Bible every day at odbm.org if you have the internet. And if you are enjoying the Pull Up Podcast, you can find more content like this by following the Our Daily Bread Ministries page right here on the Pando app and everywhere you get your podcasts. Now, back to the show. Can you explain a little bit about how you've grown, developed, and maybe got more comfortable in the way that you lead?
The image was, Davison's here. He's going to lock you up.
Absolutely.
Davison's here. He's the field commander. They're going to destroy your stuff. How do I get rid of that stigma? Honestly, empathy, humble myself, remind myself that I could easily be in here by one simple mistake. I'm not perfect. I tell myself that all the time. I tell myself, humble yourself, humble yourself, humble yourself. And then have very transparent conversations with the staff here and help them understand that you're not here to punish these guys. Their punishment is being here.
Yes.
We're not here to make their lives a living hell. Like there's some scum of the earth. They already feel that way. They're in here. You keep asking the question, how do you change the culture? For real, it's all about just realize that I'm a human. You're a human. And we don't have to act like this.
And it's those are the things that keep me and JD out here on this yard talking about this is what we're on.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the same pushback you're getting, we're getting too.
I know.
The exact same, right? But when we see you doing the things that you're doing, and one of the things that you're really good at is you don't take praise well.
I don't.
But you give it constantly and consistently when you see people doing the right thing. You put that out there. You voice that. Hey, JD, man, I see you. I see you doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's absolutely humility. Yeah. It's absolutely humility, and
it's how a leader is humble without being meek.
Right.
Right. You don't have to be a punk, or you don't have to be quiet or whatever.
Like I said, and I say this all the time, and I said the other day, arrogance requires advertising, and confidence speaks for itself. If I have to tell you what I'm about,
I'm stealing that.
I am not about that life.
Yeah. Command presence. Shouldn't have to tell you what my rank is and what I'm capable of. I should be able to smell it on you when you walk in the room.
Well, and that's how you change culture, right? You find
represent it.
You find the person on the staff side and the person on the offender side that are going to stand on it, right? So when JD's tripping, I'm pulling up on JD, and I'm telling him, dude, you're tripping, right?
But you're empowered.
You represent this.
It's part of the culture.
So represent this,
right?
Right. And it's the same thing. Whenever he sees one of his officers doing something they're not supposed to be doing,
empowered to
I know that he's saying something to him. I know that I don't have to go to Captain Davison and be like, hey, man, did you see da-da-da-da? He already knows, and he's going to address it. And that is how you change the culture, right?
Because more of them are doing it now.
Way more of them are doing it, but why are more of them doing it? Because you had one.
It's accepted now.
That's it. This is what we're doing.
And
period. And when you don't,
and you're seeing results.
Now
they're seeing the results, and they're seeing the actually they're not just talking about it; they're actually doing things.
And it's because we're doing it together,
right?
It's because the things are happening on both sides.
They're starting to listen.
We're holding each other accountable. You're holding each other accountable, and now you have groups of people that are groups of people.
Right. That's it.
And ultimately, when you have groups of people, you're not going to have all the insanity that we were dealing with in 21, 22, 23. I remember the beanbag shotguns.
Oh, yeah.
That was 22.
Yeah, you're walking to chow with guards every 10 feet, and they all got beanbag shotguns.
We had 40 millimeters. We had shotguns. We had 2 lines. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was a real thing?
Oh, yeah.
We
didn't know. I didn't know what else to do. I'm going to be honest with you. That was wild. That was a 22-man fight. And I'm sticking my can in a guy's face, telling him to get on the ground, and I look up, and another guy's getting his head stomped in.
Yeah.
On the side of the fence right here. On the other side in the ball field. And I spray, and I can't even reach him. I can't reach any of them.
And what's crazy is, had you had people that were allowed to move around, that whole situation could have been stopped. Because it's been stopped multiple times that you guys don't even know about.
I'm fully aware of that.
That
thank goodness.
People are moving and saying, Bo, you're tripping. JD, you're tripping. And all it is 90% of the time is Bo thinks JD said one thing.
Hey.
JD thinks Bo said another thing. And in reality,
that's it.
It's not true. Neither one of the things that they believe
I
is
want
true.
my biscuit, man.
Yeah,
straight up. I want my biscuit.
Give me my biscuit.
Let's talk about that biscuit.
Straight up.
Now, I will say, though, the department is doing some good things, too. For real. When it comes to certain trainings, I gotta admit, I mean, the crisis negotiation team helped me a lot. Helped me understand how to talk. And I apply it. This is true. So when I talk to guys that are in crisis, I imagine that I'm talking to my son. Or I imagine I'm talking to my daughter, or I'm talking to my dad or somebody.
And that was trained to you?
Yeah.
By the department?
Yes.
Boy, that'd make a lot of people's head explode, wouldn't it? They're sure that you're trained to treat us otherwise. Is that CIT training?
No.
That's
well,
just
I mean,
general
some
training?
of CIT, yes. I can't say that it wasn't, but I picked up when I went through the crisis negotiation training, when I was trying to talk to someone over a phone, of how do I get that in my voice box to where they're going to believe me? And I can't see them. I can't see how they're their body movement. I can't see if they're upset. I can't see that. How do I get that tone in my throat to come out? And I envisioned that, and I took it and said, I'm talking to my son. He's having this. I need to be able to go from the authoritative individual to,
I care.
I'm so sorry you're going through this. This is, if I was in your shoes right now, this is probably exactly what I'd be doing. Man, I feel terrible for you right now.
And we recognize, like you said, we're trained to believe that it's different. We absolutely recognize this is something different than I've ever experienced in 24 years. Bar none, hands down. The things that have happened at this camp in the last 18 to 24 months is, if you would have told me 3 years ago that we'd be sitting here, and I'm not even talking about sitting here at
2:30 in the morning.
Right, outside with the captain.
Outside. Yeah.
But just the way that staff interacts with us now, night and day. Absolutely night and day. And I think it's because the top has made it, this is how we're going to do it.
Well,
so
and
it's
you have
okay. And
people
I wonder
implementing change.
I wonder if whenever people came in, if they weren't like that to begin with, but that was trained out of them. The humanity was trained out of them. And now they're going the other way and building it up.
I think in the time that I was incarcerated, like I felt like culture was set purposely. I didn't give people the benefit of the doubt, and I was sure that I was being treated that way out of necessity. And I think what I realized after the fact, and especially with talking with people at the top, is no one understands what it's like to do time unless you've done time. Director doesn't know what it's like to do time because they've never done time. And if you get them in a room where they're able to be open and vulnerable, they would be open and honest about that. And that's what's not. We bear some of that burden as the incarcerated too, because we can't paint that line that is just the enemy and that you got it out for me. Just because you wear a badge or you are a person in a position of authority, I throw that label on you. I can't have more of an expectation out of you because of that.
Oh no,
But
that's
the
biggest
way
thing
we said it.
GLA taught me. Is I always wanted him to treat me like a person, but I wasn't treating him like a person.
Because
right,
he's the
that's what I
authority.
realized. I had always thought for 20 plus years, if you would just treat me like a person, maybe I would act like a person, but I'm not treating you like a person. And another thing I learned is you said the benefit of the doubt, right? I want the benefit of the doubt, right? I want the benefit of the doubt. I want people to see the things that I'm doing now and give me the benefit of the doubt that the mistake I made 24 years ago isn't me. So now I give them the benefit of the doubt, right? I believe that if they're having a bad day, it's just a bad day. That's not who it is. And I've learned I can approach people now, right? I can approach staff members and talk to them about, hey man, what's up? You're being weird today. You're not being your normal self. What's going on? Are you all right? And every now and then they tell you, hey man, beat feet.
Who went first?
Who went first?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Who went first? Who was nice first? Who came off the line first?
In our case,
Did you see it?
In our case,
Or did you start it?
So I think that I believe that GLA, right? So our first group, we all kind of started at the same time, right? We all kind of made a decision. I'm going to trust Davison. I'm going to trust Graham. And with Graham, I had such a bad history, right? That me and JD were constantly like, man, you think this is real?
After every meeting.
You think
he's
it's real?
really on this? I don't know.
Is he really
man.
on? Right. And
I
by
know
the
Graham.
end,
This don't seem like him.
by the end, oh, he's absolutely on this. 100% on this. So when Jonathan comes up here and he's saying, man, what's going on up here? This is completely different. Major Graham. What?
Yeah.
It ain't what it was. It ain't what it was. And so what happened is GLA created the environment to be able to trust that they're going to do what they're going to say, what they say they're going to do, and that we're going to do what we say we're going to do. And as we're a year and a half into it now, they're seeing them guys are doing what they say they're going to do. And we're seeing they're doing what they say they're going to do.
So imagine a catalyst, right? There's a boiling pot and there's a top on it, right? It's rattling, right? That's how we've been, right? Who turned the temperature? Who said, I'm going to turn the temperature down? So I'd say, Kelly Moore says, look, we're going to turn it down a little bit. All right? Who's going to take the pot off? Who's going to take the lid off? Major Graham. So everything, the temperature's down. There's nothing to allow to boil over. And now it's socially accepted that we can shake hands in here. It's socially accepted that I can fist bump this guy and say, hey man, you good? How's your family? I'm humanizing with these individuals in here that this is their punishment, is being here. I don't have to sit here and be a jerk because I have a badge. If I want to be a jerk, it's probably because I had a bad day outside of here and I brought it with me. And that's where I screwed up. I used to screw up all the time. I have bad days and I walk in here and then after a while, it gets easier for me. You guys don't get that. You have a bad day in here, you have a bad day in here. You're going to have to figure it out and sort it out on your own. You feel like, you don't get to just leave and go home and restart. But when we were told it is accepted, this is accepted. I want you to go out there and remember how it is to be a human with these guys. So go shake their hand. Don't you dare, it used to be, don't you dare go shoot basketball with them. How? You are out of your mind. Oh my Lord. Davison, what are you doing? I grabbed the basketball in the gym and started shooting, and I got pulled off to the side. Like, we don't do that here. You don't do that. There's cameras everywhere. What are you doing? And when I'm like, okay, I'm in, I'm going to do this. How do I show that I want to do it? I want to do a softball game against the offenders. That's my first one.
And y'all got smoked.
Yeah, we did. We whooped your butts the next year.
Listen, we're not talking about the next year. We're talking about that first year.
I didn't expect.
Well, them other guys did.
That's a whole different. That's a whole different podcast right there. But that started it. That's when I'm like, okay, maybe they are. They really do want to do this. And then it was, let's do staff and offenders on the same team.
That was wild.
What? No, get out of here.
wild.
That ain't never going to happen. You're out of your damn mind, Davison. Ain't ever going to happen. In 24 years, you are out of your damn mind. I walked in and I walked out and I went and I told Graham, don't tell anybody. Because they said, yeah, we're going to do it. Go for it. Have at it. Why would he? That's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Make it happen, Davison. Oh my God. And I didn't even get to tell you guys. Graham already told you.
He did that.
You know, he's the
Excited
boss.
about it too. Yeah, I was going to say, I think that might be a good spot to wrap up a talk about culture change. Is we're sitting outside of a maximum security prison housing unit at 3:00 in the morning, having a conversation with Captain Davison about what culture change in prison looks like. If the proof that we're sitting here on a Saturday morning at 3:00 in the morning having this conversation isn't proof that culture change is here, I don't know what else could prove that to you. So I appreciate you guys spending the time talking to us. Captain Davison, I appreciate you sitting with us. This is our 8th episode. We've pulled up on people in different facilities, but this is the first time that we've had custody staff sit with us. We've touched on some difficult things that I hope Central Office will let us include in the conversation, because it's hard to talk about culture change and not talk about difficult things. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of The Pull-Up. Tune in again next week, where we're going to talk to somebody different than these 3 people, and maybe you'll enjoy that episode, and we hope you enjoy this one. Thanks. See you next week. And that about wraps it up for this week. So thanks again for joining us. This week's episode was brought to you by Our Daily Bread Ministries, helping you experience the life-changing wisdom of the Bible every day. And don't forget about it. We're serious. If you know someone who's a good example of what leadership and positive influence looks like inside of prison, let us know, and we might pull up on you. You can contact us through Our Daily Bread Ministries or reach out to me directly, and we will connect with your facility and see if we can set up a visit. Until then, I want to thank this week's guests, and finally, a special thanks to those who work behind the scenes to make this podcast possible. Missouri Department of Corrections, Jefferson City Correctional Center, Warden Kelly Morris, the guys at Jefftown, who, by the way, helped capture this conversation you're hearing on this podcast while serving time themselves. doing some really incredible work inside. And my friends at Golden Eagle Creative, who produce it all. We'll see you right here at the same time in 2 weeks.
Oh my.